Hi everyone, Chillax here and welcome back to another Anchor Panic video. So today we are going to go over my updated build guide on how I personally build every single operator on my account. Now in the interest of time, to avoid this being an hour-long video, I'm only going to cover in this video the operators that are above the A tier. However, in the pinned comment section below, I will have the builds for every operator below the S tier. So don't worry, every single operator, I will have the builds for them, whether it be in the video or in the comment section below. That way you will know exactly how to build every single operator on your account. So anyways, without further ado, let's begin. Now, one thing I would like to point out is that the last time I did a how I built every operator guide was back in version 2.0, which was before the release of Mindbody. So for this reason, there will be certain operators, notably Ling, whose build may be quite different from what you have seen in the past. And just note that every build that I go over today is subject to change as I do more playtesting and make adjustments to optimize my operators for both PvP as well as PvE. So without further ado, let's begin. Alright, so I want to speak of the two quantum breakers first, Castle and Ifrit, who I build pretty much exactly the same. Their purpose really is for my mono quantum team for PvE, although I do run Newcastle in my PvP advanced arena lineup as well. I build both of these operators offensively, so I go crit rate, defense penetration, crit damage, and then for the model sets I go 4-piece quantum, 2-piece tenacity, speed, crit rate, crit damage, and the rest into offensive stats. So this is for both Newcastle as well as Ifrit. As you can see here, nothing has changed. Now for Lilira, Lilira has become more viable in PvP thanks to the introduction of her mind body. Although her mind body for most PvE players will not be a priority, if you ever do get an SSR quantum egg, I recommend that you hatch it onto Tiya first. Yes, but if you do manage to get her mind body, what's unique about it is that it allows her to energy burst on round 1, and that energy burst will generate a unique shield called Emergency Aid, which upon shattering will negate that instance of damage as well as remove crowd control from that operator. So this is quite powerful as an ability. And then in terms of her build, I would go speed, healing bonus, and HP. Shield enhance is an okay alternative, but her heals aren't exactly bursty, and her shields and heals scale off of HP, so personally I don't think shield enhance is as good on her as what I have shown before you just now. And then for the model set, I like 4-piece block, 2-piece HP, speed, HP bonus, HP, and then the rest into speed, shield enhance, block chance, and the rest into HP and a little bit into defense. Okay, so moving, I'm going to skip diamonds, going to skip yen. Let's move on to Momiji. So Momiji, I run her in both PvP as well as PvE. Signature sigil, crit rate, defense penetration, crit damage. And then for the model set, I go 4-piece fire, 2-piece attack boost, speed, crit rate, crit damage, and then the rest into offensive stats. And then for my Frost Knight Dawn, it's actually almost exactly the same like Momiji. As you can see here, the only difference is just 4-piece ice, 2-piece attack boost instead. Now, the thing about Frost Knight Dawn is that even though she is a breaker, the nice thing is that when you are running Frost Knight Dawn in a mono ice team for PvE content, you're going to be running triple breaker in the form of Frost Knight Dawn, Abyssal, as well as Core. And so for this reason, you have less of a tenacity gauge shredding demand, just because usually 2 breakers is enough to shred the tenacity gauge for most PvE content, and so you can afford to build your Frost Knight Dawn more offensively. Not to mention, Frost Knight Dawn is one of the best 3 DPSs that you can run in PvP, and so for this reason, typically tenacity gauge model sets are not really used in PvP, so this is the best for her in my opinion. And then offensive stats. Okay, so moving on to Crianca. Crianca, I'm actually going to be changing her build soon. I'm probably going to swap shield strength out for speed, keep the defense bonus in HP, and then for the model set, I'm going to change the HP to speed and then go base HP and HP. The reason for that is because I'm considering running Crianca in PvE content because of her energy burst, allowing her to basically pull the enemy in with the most flame stacks, which usually will be the boss, like the giant fox robo lady, and makes that target take 10% more damage for 2 turns. Now, I need to do more playtesting to understand how impactful or not this will be, but I am running Crianca more and more in PvP now, and speed is still kind of important. And I have my Crianca tanky enough that I can afford to swap some HP out for speed. So that's kind of where my head is at right now. I still probably would stick with 4-piece block, 2-piece HP, but maybe in a PvE. Actually, what I probably would do is keep this for PvP and then create a completely different PvE build that is 4-piece Raging Wave, 2-piece HP, speed base HP to really capitalize on her energy burst, damage boost potential, as well as providing a little bit of resonance boost with a 4-piece Raging Wave. So that's kind of where my head's at right now with Crianca. Now for Luna, I pretty much run her primarily in PvP, so Signature Sigil is going to be speed, defense bonus, and HP. Model set is going to be... So I went with 4-piece HP, 2-piece defense, speed, HP, and HP, but you can go 4-piece block, 2-piece HP instead, whichever you would like. Some people I have noticed go 4-piece defense, 2-piece HP, but personally I find that to be inferior from a survivability standpoint, and the reflect damage is going to be nowhere enough to shatter the opposing enemy's barrier, like opposing Lunas and such. So I think this is better. And then, the rest into defensive stats as possible: block chance, speed, and HP and defense. Let me just make sure I'm recording. Okay, good. I guess we'll talk about Argo. So actually, I personally don't use Argo anymore, although I do have her rated as S tier on my tier list. The reason being that the one copy of Signature Sigil that I have, I actually run on my Lengjiao, because Lengjiao's Signature Sigil does not run speed bonus, and it doesn't provide speed either. And because Lengjiao, thanks to the introduction of her mind body, becomes the fastest operator in the game, at least on round 1. And so for this reason, her Signature Sigil is incredibly important on Lengjiao. But yes, for her Signature Sigil, you would go speed, crit rate, defense penetration. I think this is quite reasonable offensively. And then for the model set, 4-piece precision, 2-piece nature, speed, crit rate, crit damage, and the rest into offensive stats. Okay, Abyssal Alicia, defense penetration, crit rate, crit damage. Model set, 4-piece lightning, 2-piece attack boost, speed, crit rate, crit damage, offensive buffs. Okay, and then moving on to Rose. So Rose, Signature Sigil, speed, crit rate, defense penetration. I think this is the perfect balance between PvP and PvE. However, if you care more about PvE, you could take the speed out for crit damage, although in my opinion I don't think it's super necessary, but she is one of the higher than average damage dealers for Entropy Cataclysm, so that is worth considering. For the model set, I went 4-piece tenacity, 2-piece physical. The reason I went with this route instead of 4-piece physical, 2-piece attack boost is because for my land clash team, I run Rose as the solo physical operator, so I don't have the physical resonance activated in order to capitalize on the bleed stacks. So that's the main reason I go with this. However, if you do run your rows with another physical operator, then I think 4-piece physical, 2-piece tenacity can make a lot of sense, and then go with offensive remodel stats. Okay, moving on to Eucaly. Crit rate, defense penetration, ice I think is great. You can also go crit damage instead of ice damage. That makes a lot of sense. 4-piece ice, 2-piece attack boost, speed, crit rate, crit damage, and then the rest in the offensive stats I think is going to be good. Frost Jade, so this is going to be a kind of a different build. Speed, HP, healing boost is still going to be the priority for Frost Jade. You can also go defense, that's fine. However, for the model set, currently I have this as kind of a hybrid PvP PvE model set. Speed, base HP, and attack, because she does have attack boosting potential for the party that scales off of her attack, but she doesn't provide anywhere close to as much attack buffing as like Streyne or Centaurea or Ling, and so for this reason I do build her a little bit more defensively, because whenever Frost Jade gets knocked out in PvP it really sucks. And so that's why I actually have HP bonus instead of attack boost. But having a 4-piece Raging Wave allows her to provide enough offensive buffing potential for the party to be viable in PvE. So this is kind of like a good middle ground. But it is entirely meritable, or whatever the word is. It is entirely viable, or it's good to also go 4-piece Raging Wave, 2-piece attack boost, speed, base attack, attack. If you want to build a second model set for PvE specifically like that, I think it makes a lot of sense. Yeah, but as you can see, I have an alphabet soup of, I still have 6 out of 6 speed, but an alphabet soup of HP as well as base HP. Yeah, that's just what I've done to make her work for me. Now for Thunderock, Thunderock is one of 2 operators who scales off of both HP and defense. The other operator, to my knowledge, is Dione. And so for this reason, you have to have speed, HP, defense bonus. That's non-negotiable. And for model set, you have to go 4-piece HP, 2-piece defense, speed, base HP, defense. So I'm going to go ahead and show you. Yeah, that's how I have it. And then you have speed, you have your max block chance, max shield enhanced, and the rest into HP and a little bit into defense as you can. Okay, so for Tiya, I made a major change for her, because now I have her mind body, which allows her to be an even more of a powerhouse in PvE content. So I've completely gone towards the PvE hype train and gone crit rate, quantum damage, and defense penetration in order to optimize her damage potential. And I have slowed her so much that I have completely taken speed out of her remodel in order to ensure that my breakers, Ifrit and Newcastle, as well as my offensive buffers Streyne and Tern, move before Tiya. However, for a PvP build, you obviously would not do that. Instead, you would have 80 speed on your signature sigil, and for your model sets, instead of 4-piece quantum, 2-piece attack boost, you would go 4-piece quantum, 2-piece Raging Wave, and you would have 6 out of 6 speed. But I know I still run Tiya in PvP, and I just kind of run her functionally like a Frost Knight Dawn or Abyssal Alicia, where I run her last, but because I build her so offensively, so she still hits like a truck. So that's kind of the idea there. Okay, so moving on to Alice. Yeah, this is what I've got. If I was to change this, I would have crit rate somewhere in there. Model set, as you see before you, speed, crit rate, crit damage. and the rest into offensive buffs. I run her primarily for PvE. I have her Mind Body, however, for most free-to-play players, as well as low spenders, I recommend getting the Mind Body for Ling instead. Yeah, and actually this is technically the third best Lightning Mind Body in the game, so most players should not be getting Mind Body for her. Okay, so now for Raven, she's the highest scoring damage dealing single target physical DPS. I'm not finished building her yet. There's eventually I will have crit rate, defense penetration, and either physical damage or crit damage. However, I'm completely out of empowers. And then for the model set, 4-piece physical, 2-piece attack boost, speed, crit rate, crit damage, and the rest into offensive stats. Okay, moving on to Karanissa, I run her in PvE and PvP. Yes, but I build her, and her Mind Body is very good. I'm trying to max it out right now. It allows her to energy burst 3 to 4 times every other round, so against PvE enemies. And actually, she ends up energy bursting even more in PvP. So, yeah. And then signature sigil, full offense, crit rate, defense pen, crit damage. And then for model sets, 4-piece lightning, 2-piece attack, speed, crit rate, crit damage, offensive remodel stats. Okay, so moving on to Echo. Echo, signature sigil, speed, HP. I'd probably go defense bonus. However, I did get 10 out of 10 lightning on my second remodel, so I kept it. And then for the models, I run her in PvP primarily, so, and I don't like her dying. So, and I run her mainly for the Electro Band, so, but I don't like her dying. So I go 4-piece block, 2-piece raging wave, speed, base HP, and HP, which I know is not ideal for PvE content. For PvE content, I actually borrow Tern's model set, so you can jump to her timestamp for that, and I have her incredibly tanky. But you know, I no longer run Echo in my normal arena, although I still run her in Advanced Arena and Land Clash, and this has performed quite well for me. It's kind of like my own personal build. Okay, what else? So Grenache I run primarily for Entropy Cataclysm. This is not optimized at all. If I had it my way, I would go crit rate, defense pen, and either crit damage or fire damage, but this is okay. I got 80 speed on like my, like very early on, so okay. And then model set is going to be 4-piece fire, 2-piece tenacity, speed, crit rate, crit damage, and then the rest into offensive stats if you can. Okay, I'm going to skip Merlot. Lengjiao is on Argo signature sigil, as you see before you. The stats, the build, prioritizing the freeze is very important. So 4-piece precision, 2-piece raging wave to outspeed opposing Lengjiaos, speed, crit rate, crit damage, and as offensively as possible. And then if you have the Ice SSR egg, the Mind Body for Lengjiao is the best option. Okay, now for Ling, Ling's Mind Body is the #1 Mind Body to get first if you are a free-to-play player who got an SSR Lightning Egg. This turns your Ling into a Streyne 2.0, providing tremendous offensive buffs to your party, scaling off of her own attack. And for this reason, you know, you still build her offensively with speed, defense, pen, and like crit rate ideally, but then you're going to go 4-piece tenacity, 2-piece attack boost, speed, base attack, and attack, and then you're going to go full base attack and attack in your remodels. Okay, so going to skip Marceline turn. Turn, I have HP, defense, bonus, speed. Get that 80 speed, that's very important. Model set 4-piece raging wave, 2-piece attack, speed, base attack, attack. Remodels, you want to max out base attack and attack if you can, if you care about PvP, and get that max speed for PvP. Okay, so Flicker, HP, speed, defense bonus. You could go for shield enhance, but personally defense bonus I think is much better. And then you go 4-piece block, 2-piece HP. Her kit does not scale off of HP, it scales off of... does not scale off of defense, it scales off of HP, so I think this is optimal. Speed, base HP, and HP. Get that max shield enhance, max block chance, and the rest into HP, and some speed is also very welcome. Abyssal I run primarily in PvE. Crit rate, crit damage, and speed is fine. 4-piece tenacity, 2-piece ice. The reason I went with this build is because I run my Frost Knight Dawn on the 4-piece ice, 2-piece attack, so I want to make absolutely sure I shred the tenacity gauge down to 0 before Frost Knight Dawn starts attacking. That's why I went that way. And then offensive stats. Okay, we're going to skip Crag, and then Dawalin. I have her mind body, but probably not worth getting for most players. Yeah, Dawalin is decent in Entropy Cataclysm, Signature Sigil. This is what I've got, but I would love to have crit rate somewhere in here as well. And then for the model sets is what you have before you: speed, crit rate, crit damage, 4-piece nature, 2-piece attack boost, into as much offense as possible for the remodels. We're going to skip Dawn. We're going to skip Lycosha, skip Olivia, Morpho. So signature sigil, speed, lightning damage, crit rate I think is fine. Model set, if you care about PvE, I'm not even sure if this is the best, but for PvP for sure you're going to go this. 4-piece precision, 2-piece speed, Raging Wave, speed, crit rate, crit damage, and then the remodel effects into as much offense as possible. Okay, we're going to skip Quasar. Sparklewing, I just borrow Echo Signature Sigil, and then I run 4-piece Raging Wave, 2-piece Tenacity. This allows her to be a resonance provider for the party in PvE while also having a little bit more Tenacity boost. Shredding potential, and then the rest in the offensive stats. Okay, Centaurea I borrow from Echo, and then 4-piece Raging, 2-piece attack, speed, base attack, and then stack as much base attack and attack as possible. Catalpa skip, Dawalin skip, Streyne. You're going to go Luxuriant Origin, HP, speed, healing, boost, and then 4-piece Tenacity, 2-piece attack, speed, base attack, and attack. Stack that base attack and attack as much as you can. Let me check how we're 22 minutes, okay. So Antilope, I'm no longer running, but if I was to run her, I would go Automated Cultivation, which is this one right here to optimize her survivability. I'd probably go speed, HP, defense, and then for the model set, I would probably go 4-piece block, 2-piece HP, speed, HP, because she scales off of HP, and then speed, block chance, shield enhance, the rest into HP and defense. For Dione, she's the other operator besides Thunderock who scales off of HP and defense. I no longer run her, but if you do build her, you're gonna run Automated Cultivation once again, kind of like with Antilope, and then model set you're going to go 4-piece HP, 2-piece defense, and then speed, base HP, and defense I think would make a lot of sense. Mustang I run in Advanced Arena. Signature Sigil is on a spare copy of Windrift. HP, speed. Most important is max speed, and if you can get HP and defense that would be nice. And then for the model set, I have 4-piece block, 2-piece Raging Wave, speed, base HP, max speed is the most important, and I built her extra tanky. Okay, core, signature sigil, I borrow from Echo. Model set, I borrow from... Actually, I think I built her own at this point. Yeah, 4-piece tenacity, 2-piece ice, and then as much offensive stats as possible. Okay, I think that pretty much wraps it up for all the important operators. So Guys, I hope you found this informative. I know I blasted through that. If you have any questions or need any clarification, I'm always happy to help with that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Take care, guys.